Wow. All I have to say is, ladies, I'm sorry you have to go through this. Hey, what's up guys? It's me, Anthony, here to give you guys another movie review. This time it is for the Hulu original False Positive. Now, this is a A24 film, so you know we're gonna expect and receive some quality in this film. And False Positive is no different. We have the quality here. We have the spectacle of an A24 film. Is it the best? Is it the top tier of A24? I don't think so, but that's okay. Because it's still a good film in my opinion, and I got a lot to say about this movie because I was shocked and dismayed in this film. I was left with unease. Like, if you're gonna go into this movie expecting to have a good time, I mean, I don't think, if you saw the trailer, I know some people don't watch trailers, don't like trailers, but in this instance, I think you need to watch the trailer first, because if you don't like this kind of stuff that's being shown in this film, you're not gonna enjoy yourself. Lucy and Adrian find their dream fertility doctor in the illustrious Dr. Hindle, but after becoming pregnant, Lucy begins to notice something sinister behind Hindle's charm, and she sets out to uncover the unsettling truth behind him. Now, I'm a big fan of Broad City, so when I saw that Ilana was going to star in this movie and actually write some of this movie, I was really excited because, you know, I love her in Broad City. She's really funny, and we've seen this trend a lot recently where we have comedy people going into the horror space, and so far I think that transition has turned out well for a lot of comedians. But I think this one's a little bit different because this is like a personal story mixed into this movie for Ilana. She has suffered from fertility herself. Her and her husband were trying to get pregnant, but it was a really long process. She just recently was able to get pregnant. So the story is personal, and you can really feel that in this film. And Ilana is pretty much unrecognizable in this movie. Like I said, I'm a big fan of her from Broad City, and she's like, you know, being wild and crazy, her goofy self in that show. And in this one, she's a little bit more subdued. You know, there is some moments of her when she gets to express her comedic side, but it's not that much. But one of the best things that this movie does is makes you feel unsettled. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It will leave you with an eerie taste in your mouth. And that's not with some kind of monster or loud banging in the distance. This movie will just make you feel uncomfortable just by the way that people talk to each other. And particularly how men talk to women in this movie, and women talk to each other in this movie. Just some of the stuff that people say to each other just made me feel like that was the creepiest thing I've ever heard. And I think that what makes this even more scary is that women go through this kind of stuff all the time. And that is the main thing that this movie is focusing on. It's focusing on women being in a male dominant society and how men are just like obsessed with women's bodies and how to control them. And before I go any further, if you're not really want to get into that whole, like, you know, women's body and women's health kind of stuff, if that kind of stuff is not for you, then you probably don't want to watch this movie. But the movie does put a spotlight on women's health, particularly women's health in America. And I say that because a lot of the imagery that they show in here from the past is more of Americans' culture. And they do kind of talk about how, like, other cultures do it a little bit more naturally, and they give the women a little bit more control in their bodies. And by no means am I an expert by women's bodies, but I think that I learned a little bit, actually a lot, about that in this film. Because one of the most powerful things in this film is a montage of like imagery from the past, probably like early 1800s, that shows how men thought of women when they were pregnant, how they treat them, what they thought they needed to do when a woman is going through contractions and stuff. It's pretty sick. And to me, that was the most effective part of the film, when they were diving deep into those themes and those elements of fertility and men's obsession with fertility in women's bodies in particular. I mean, just let people do their own thing, dude. Like, I think she knows what she's talking about because the baby's inside her. Now, like I say all the time, not every movie is perfect, and this film isn't, like I said, the best A24 film, so it has some issues. For instance, the pacing could have been done a little bit better. It's not the worst pacing, but I did find that the film kind of drags at some points and then just like picks up, goes really fast, and then it'll slow down again. So it was just a little bit inconsistent with its pacing. But the big issue, I wouldn't call it big, but the main issue that I have with this film is It's an A24 film, so you know, I'm not really into the whole art house things, but I do enjoy quite a few of A24's films. But you know, with these kind of films, you gotta have some art house elements in here. And when they do kind of do that artistic filming style or transitions, or even in this movie in particular, the dream sequences, they kind of make them a little bit like artsy. It doesn't really quite hit, at least for me. It kind of comes off as cheesy. I kind of like that it came off as cheesy for me, but it did also kind of pull me out of the movie and what the movie wanted you to feel with this like uneasiness and everything. I just kind of felt like it was just funny. But overall, guys, I think that this is a really good film. I did see recently, before I started jumping on here and reviewing this movie, that people hate this movie. It's currently at a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a big yikes. 15% audience score. Wow, I didn't think it was gonna be this low. I don't personally think it's that bad of a film. Like I said, Ilana Glazer does a great job of just portraying this woman that is going through this incredibly scary process, and I was here for it. If you watch this film and you come out and you're like, yeah, that wasn't that bad, that wasn't that scary, you have no soul. You need to, you know, look in the mirror and check up on yourself. But guys, let me know what you think of False Positive in the comments down below. Is it as bad as everybody is saying? I personally don't think so, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter so you can stay up to date with my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And also guys, keep watching movies.